All right. Today I'm gonna. Oof, my dog is barking because there's that other dog there. So anyway, nice way to start the video. Anyway, this video is going to address the question: why is Islam so hated? Or why is Islam, Muslims will say Islam is misunderstood. Okay? I want to give you my perspective, and I want you to tell me if I'm right or wrong. Okay? This is not a hate video. This is not, to marginalize anyone. This is just me asking you questions or an opinion, and you can give me the answers. Okay, now let me begin by telling you I have friends who are Muslims, who are normal people, normal, everyday. Like, I wouldn't, we have this typical thought pattern that, oh, Muslim is someone with a long beard and he's an extremist and all that. No, there are billions of Muslims on this planet, and majority are nice people. Okay, and Islam is a lifestyle, is a belief. So as long as it is interpreted, interpretation, as long as it is interpreted to do good for other human beings, there's absolutely nothing wrong. So now the question is, why is Islam so hated? Why? What is the reason? Well, I'll give you a few reasons. I've not planned like top 10 or whatever. I'm just going to give you my reasons, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. The first one is, like all other religions, Christianity, Hinduism, Jewish religion or any other religion, Islam also believes we are the true religion. All other religions are fake. We are the only true religion. And Islam is perfect. There's nothing wrong in our religion. There's nothing wrong in our text. There's not even a single mistake. Now, this is where I think the root problem starts. When you have a belief system that is infallible, that cannot be questioned, that cannot be wrong, no matter what, then what do you expect? Tell me which religion says it's wrong. Does Hinduism say we are wrong somewhere? No. Does Christianity say we are wrong somewhere? No. So if all the religions say we are true, then which religion is false? So this is the first problem that starts with Islam. But then you'll say, oh, Lloyd, what about other religions? I'll come to it. The second part is, Muslims, not all, they tend to justify so many, I don't know, what do you call it, bad things or things that just don't make sense in Quran or in Islam. The best and the biggest example I'll give you is Prophet Muhammad, 50-plus-year-old guy, marrying a 6-year-old or 9-year-old girl. Let's use common sense here. Simple common sense. Tell me, in today's world, where is it considered normal for a 50-year-old man to marry a 6-year-old or 9-year-old girl? Tell me, where is it? I have spoken in the sense, chatted, debated. Oh, you'll always see them either avoiding the question or manipulating this thing. Some of the answers I've received is, Loy, do you know that he never touched her? That is one theory. How do you know he touched her or didn't touch her? How do you know what was the interaction? Did he, is there any evidence to state, no, I did not touch her, this is me, Prophet Muhammad, I've written it down? Or did he Was it written anywhere in the Quran? He married her, but he never touched her, and she was never touched until she was 18. Then there are others who are like, Loy, are you aware that girls reach puberty at an early age? Okay, using that logic, let's assume I have a daughter. If she reaches puberty by 6, is it appropriate that I get her married to a 50-year-old man? Where is your common sense? In fact, I asked one guy, would you let your daughter or your sister who's 6 years old or 9 years old marry a 50-year-old man? Majority, almost all of them, either deny, either avoid that question, don't answer the question, or they say, Law, you're manipulating facts. So the second thing is this there are these cultures, rules, traditions that are followed, which are outright barbaric, like chopping of the hands, chopping of the legs, beheading someone, stoning someone to death. I've seen videos where Muslims stone a woman to death, stone a man to death. They have covered their face. Stoning, actual stoning. I've seen it. This is not from the... You'll be like, Law, you are talking of a one-off incident. No, it's not one-off. It happens so frequently. You know, what about beheading? Then you'll say, Law, those are terrorists. Yes, but the terrorists that follow which religion? I mean, lately we had the Christchurch killing. That guy claimed that he was, I don't know, inspired by Nelson Mandela, apparently. And then you have, even in India, you have Hindus who commit crimes and say, you know, I saw one of the videos where this guy in a car, rich guy, is catching this poor Muslim man, is catching him with his beard, old man, and say, Bol Jai Mata Di, or say, you know, Jai means praise to the Hindu goddess. That poor Muslim guy was saying, yeah, whatever he wanted to say, he was saying Jai Mata Di. So these are barbaric. Okay, but now you'll say that, Loy, these are few people, but these few people, no, these few people can cause damage to millions others. I mean, what happened with September 9/11? Okay, what happened there? Then you'll say it's politics. See, this is the problem. If we start pointing out one thing, you'll say another thing. What religion or what belief system do they follow? I'll tell you where the basic problem lies, is how you interpret these verses. The problem, the biggest problem with not just the Quran, but in any religion is these words, these sentences, can be translated into countless meanings. Now you'll say, Loy, like one guy, he wrote on below my videos, he said, Loy, have you met a true Islamic scholar? Now what do you define as a true Islamic scholar? Is there an Islamic scholar that is recognized entirely all over the world by every Muslim, by Shias, by Sunnis, by Saudi, by UK, by USA? Is there one person? No, there is no one person. If you see, I think Merri TV or something, you see Saudi clerics, you see Pakistani clerics, you see even clerics who are based in UK. Each one has a different translation. Like, for example, the word jihad. Now, the word jihad, you ask a peaceful guy, he'll be like, he'll give you a translation, doing the will of God or dying for God or whatever. But you ask another nut job, he'll say, you should be ready to die and kill for the name of God. So where do you draw the line? And then you have these rules that just don't make any sense. Females should be covered. Okay, fine. You want to cover head to toe. Fine. You want to... There are internet forums that make fun and say, okay, they look like plastic bags, you know. All right. If a female likes to be covered, fine. Cover yourself with whatever you want. Just cover. You are comfortable. No issues. But I'll tell you now where the next problem is. Wherever Muslims go, they want that country to follow their religion. I'll give you a good example. Now, these Pakistanis, Afghanis, who are gone to the UK, who are gone to Europe, now they ran away from their country, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Libya, because they were being oppressed there. So they went to a Western country where the culture is free, freedom of expression. Okay, you can talk, whatever. They escaped Sharia law to go to a Western society. Now, after going there, they want the Western society to follow Sharia law. I mean, what sense does that make? You go to a country as an immigrant, and then you're telling the country, you follow my rules, or you have to respect me. Oh, I don't want to shake hands. Don't touch my... Oh, I can cover up to down. You have to respect. Oh, it's racist. And they use this term, race. Islam is not a race. Islam is a religion. Muslims are not a race. Muslims are a group of people who follow a religion. It's not a race. They use that trump card forever. And here's another thing. Why are you forcing people to follow your Sharia law? Why? What is so great in the Sharia law? Why don't you follow your Sharia law for yourself? Why are you forcing others to follow? And then, now when you go to France, France has a rule, you can't, we will ban the Muslim veil. And they are shouting, oh, this is racism, this is anti-Islam. Tell me something, if a Westerner goes to Saudi, can she be totally free without a scarf, wear sleeveless? Fucking hell, they'll not only jail her, they might even kill her. Okay? You know this, I know this. Let's not act dumb. Okay? Now, mind you, I'm not saying that other religions have no problem. I'm not saying that Christians are all good. I'm not saying Hindus are all saints. No. But when you deny, when you ignore, when you act like your religion is perfect, your holy book is perfect, I mean, what are you, infallible? I mean, it is so stupid when I hear people say, do you know that NASA copied from the Quran? Do you know that science is following Quran? Do you know that the cure for COVID is because it was written, it was what? No, COVID was, there was one guy who was saying that COVID was the punishment of Allah because of the sins and it's going to reset the world. You see, the problem is there are so many experts of Islam. Every guy believes he's an expert in Islam. Like, for example, there is this guy, his name is Ansar or something. He's a nice guy. He's a good lad. He's a good boy. He supports my channel. Now, he's a Muslim boy who's based in India, and he follows Islam. He is Muslim. He's a nice guy. There's nothing wrong with him. But he's a big fan of Dr. Zakir Naik. Now, he claims, according to him, Dr. Zakir Naik is very intelligent, very smart. No doubt. He's smart, he's intelligent. But he talks garbage. Utter garbage. I don't know what his doctor credentials are. But this guy memorizes facts, manipulates the verses to give a definition of whatever he wants to say. Now, and the guy is busy milking all the money, like Christian preachers and other religious heads. He's also enjoying a good life with money. He makes a hell lot of money. Okay? Yes, there's nothing wrong. But ask yourself, why is he kicked out of India? Why does he have so many legal cases? Now you'll say people are jealous. See, this is exactly where the problem is. There is nothing wrong. Show me a Muslim who will say these things are wrong in Islam. This is wrong in the Quran. Show me a Muslim who will say that. The only Muslims who will say that are the ones who will talk to you in secret, in private. They'll never say it publicly. Why? Because they are afraid of the backlash. And the backlash is very, very dangerous. Some of them, okay, try this. Being gay and homosexual is not allowed in Islam. We all know that. Even in Christianity, it's not allowed. But because of the Reformation and because of the way our society is moving, now they are saying, fine, it's okay, but it's still considered, like they say, the first man was Adam and Eve. Although there is no evidence, absolutely none, that there was Adam and Eve was created. God made the world in 7 days. What the fuck is all that shit? Made in 7 days. Where's the dinosaurs? Someone forgot to write that in the Bible. And the whole Quran and the Christian faith is revolved only in the Middle East. Australia never had anything. There was no Australia, there was no America, there was no Asia, there was no China. Everything happened only in the Middle East. The whole God concept was only there. And then God's fascination with what you do with your private parts. Who is watching. It's called voyeurism. And God will punish you. See the funny thing. God will punish you if you don't listen to Him, if you don't follow Him, if you don't worship Him. He will punish you. He will destroy your life in hell and fire if you don't worship Him. But He loves you. He loves you unconditionally. Does that even make sense to you? It's like me telling my kid. It's like me telling the world, I love my kid. I'll give my life for my kid. I love my kid unconditionally. That means without any condition. Even if the kid doesn't love me back. But if you don't listen to me, I'm telling my kid, if you don't listen to me, you don't worship me, you don't fall down and pray to me, bend over, and then I will destroy your life forever. What do you call such a person? Seriously, what do you call such a person? You call that person a tyrant. And then, last but not the least, see, you can join Islam. You cannot leave Islam. If you leave Islam, there is a price to pay. There's a backlash. You can't say that you're gay. You cannot have a child out of wedlock without being stoned or jailed or killed. That is Islam, which is being followed in Saudi, Afghanistan, Pakistan. In fact, if you crack a joke on the Prophet, on the Quran, you crack a joke, you do a drawing, they will kill you. There are people who will kill you. And then they say Islam is the religion of peace. Tell me, does it make sense? In Christianity, draw a cartoon of Jesus. Nobody gives a fuck. Hinduism, yes. You draw, they'll file a FIR or there'll be some crazy guy. Christianity, nobody cares. I'm not trying to endorse Christianity. I'm an atheist myself. But in Islam, is the only religion where you insult the Prophet or the Quran, jail, beheading. Look at what happened in France. You'll say, yeah, those are psychos. Yeah, but what religion do they follow? What are their belief systems? See, as long as you have people who believe that their religion is the ultimate thing, there's nothing wrong. You cannot question. You cannot make fun. That is a very, very dangerous thing. And the worst part is, they don't see anything wrong in their religion. They don't see anything. There's no drawback. There's nothing. It's perfect. And then they'll give you all sorts of reasons to justify, unbelievable stuff. Especially like what I said. Tell me, I can challenge you this. Speak to any Muslim. Prophet Muhammad, 50-year-old guy, marrying a baby girl, man. And they will justify that. What? How can you justify that? You will not believe. Guys with education have told me, Loy, she is reaching puberty. She'll have sexual feelings. So that is why to control, to make it pure, it was given to the Prophet. I just didn't know what to say to that guy. So I asked him, you have a daughter, right? Would you allow her to marry me? He just was stunned. He said, "What the fuck are you talking, man?" This double standards, no? And see, I think one last thing is, Islam is so tough, so difficult to follow. It is so difficult to follow. Smoking is not allowed. Drinking is not allowed. Sex outside, without marriage is not allowed. They have made it like you have to be so perfect. You have to be like a priest. And then they say Allah is a loving, caring God. They have this concept. But then, if you crack a joke, you draw a diagram, or this is where the problem occurs, where Islam, there's nothing wrong. It's perfection. And everything else is bad and evil. And then their source material is just this book, which is written in Arabic. And which is, I don't know, 2,000, 3,000 years old, or whatever, 6,000 or... we as people who are educated, we are always looking for the updated version, the new version. So the mistakes of the past are corrected. The research, the findings, we question them. Oh, we made a mistake. Technology improves. That we do it for every other thing except religion. See, this is where the problem occurs. Islam is a lifestyle. It's a very tough, difficult lifestyle. I'm not saying it's bad. There are some people who love it and some people who are very comfortable with it. I've met Muslims who are with a beard. I've met Muslims who are fully covered. I have friends, and I've told you this before, my majority of my friends are Muslims. Majority. You'll be surprised to know. But they tell me they can't speak about this openly. They just cannot. You cannot. You can't do it in Saudi. You can't do it in Dubai, no matter how progressive. And then the double standards. Dubai says we follow Islam. Well, try speaking to the rulers. What do they say? We follow Islam. But then alcohol is allowed, prostitution allowed. It goes on, right? What do you think the Arab tourists who come here to all these Asian countries, what, you think they're not Muslims? And then you have this Ramadan that is coming. 40 days they are going to control everything. And then after the 40th day explode and do everything else. I know you'll say that I'm only focusing on Islam. The problem is because it's so divisive, it's so extreme in its views, and there's nothing wrong. The simple thing, there's nothing wrong with Islam. There's no mistake. Like Prophet Muhammad going on a winged horse to heaven. And then the problem is no two Muslims agree with each other. Every Muslim has its own theory. Shias agree on something, Sunnis agree on something else. You know, that beating with the metal blades and cutting yourself and all that. I think Shia follow that. Sunnis don't know. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. So this is the problem. I'm not trying to attack Islam. But someone needs to address this. And as long as you keep justifying this, that's where you're going to... that's why people are not going to accept it. This ideology that Islam is perfect, that Prophet Muhammad, 50-year-old guy marrying a 6-year-old is okay. Okay, let's say homosexuality is not acceptable to you, but then you have to stone them, kill them, throw them out of your society. Women have to be covered. If they are not covered, they are sluts and this and that. And I don't know, man. I just feel until all this is sorted out, it's never going to be mainstream. It's never going to be accepted. It'll always have its problem. And you want a special privilege of saying that, oh, you're being racist, they are being racist towards Muslims. but then you don't give the same balanced privilege to Westerners who come to Saudi and to come to Arab states, right? They have to follow your rules. But when you go, oh, you follow our rules, you follow Sharia. So you tell me if I'm wrong. Please, like I said, this is not a video to attack you guys. Tell me where I'm wrong. Put those points down. And let me know your thoughts. And like yesterday I got one guy was saying, oh yeah, you guys are making fun of Hindus drinking cow piss. He actually shared with me a video, Muslim drinking from the camel's vagina. He was drinking its urine, mixing it with milk and saying this heals diseases. And there was a screenshot of doctors, this Zakir Naik, I don't know why they call him doctor. He's talking about the benefits of drinking camel urine. Why don't you drink all the animals' urine, including human piss, and heal all your disease, man? Anyway, this is what I wanted to tell you. You tell me if I'm wrong or right. Like I told you, this is not hate. I'm not trying to hate any group. But please enlighten me. Enlighten me where I'm wrong and educate me. But yeah, please, the one thing which I'll tell you is, please don't put some link of some video. Oh, here is all the answers. Don't put a link of some article. Don't tell me read the Quran and understand. I'm asking you, explain and write it. Don't quote the verses, because just as you will not accept if a Hindu quotes, or chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita says this, so it's correct. You will not accept that. You will not accept chapter 17 of Deuteronomy in the Christian Bible, verse 7 says Christianity is correct. You will not accept that. Then don't expect anyone to take your word. Oh, this chapter of this page of this. No. Explain with logic and common sense. Let's start with Prophet Muhammad, 50-year-old man, 6-year-old girl. Please, let's start with that. Let's start with you running away from your country with Sharia law, then coming to the West and asking them to follow Sharia law, and then shouting, screaming, and doing all that stuff. Explain that. And lastly, what is this apostasy? If you leave Islam, you should be killed, gays should be killed. What's all this? Stoning? Explain all that. Tell me, is that barbaric? Is that... So, I don't know. Explain to me that all these theories and Prophet Muhammad on a winged horse going to the moon, splitting the moon in two, and if you can explain this and everyone has an agreement that this is correct, all the sides, including the Muslims themselves, of a 50-year-old marrying a 6-year-old, of the Sharia law and all that, fine. And here's just a question. Why is the Quran in Arabic? Why is God speaking in Arabic? Why isn't there any other religion? No. Why is God only in Arabic? He's an Arabic God. He didn't know any other language. Why is everything only centered around the Middle East? Why not in China? Why was God only moving in the Middle East? The whole Bible, the whole Quran is only in the Middle East. There's nothing else. No other country. Here are a few afterthoughts. I just thought I'll ask you these questions. And these questions are to all my Muslim friends and followers. Followers in the sense who watch some of the videos on my channel. Okay, please answer these questions. The first one is, if Islam is a religion of peace, if Islam is a religion of love, why is it not okay to have, let's say, Hindu gods, statues, a crucifix kept in a mosque? Let everyone pray. You pray your religion, they pray theirs. Why is that not okay? Why is it only, no, there should be no other religion, no other God, only Allah. Okay, that's one. Second one is, why being gay, being homosexual, being lesbian, why is that not allowed in Islam? Islam is a religion of love, right? It should be a religion of peace, right? Then it should be okay to have gays, homosexuals. There are Muslims who are gays, there are Muslims who are homosexuals. Why you don't accept that? Third one, which I think is the biggest one, is 50-year-old man, 6-year-old girl. Right or wrong? Very simple question, right or wrong? So if you say right, fine, keep it at that. If you say wrong, then in Islam, your own prophet has done something wrong, right? Wrong, right? Then next one is, why is it that Muslims go to Western countries and ask Western countries to change and follow Sharia law when you have left Sharia law and come here? Why? Why is it okay for one man to marry 4 women? Why not one man and one woman? Why not give them equal status? Why is it like, then shouldn't it be one woman can marry 4 men? But then you'll say, oh, women gives birth and all that. So what do you want? One man to keep pregnating everyone? I mean, come on, explain the sense of all this. Then what about all these theories about Prophet Muhammad on a winged horse splitting the moon? Come on, please explain to me this. In fact, why, if Islam is a religion of peace and love, shouldn't it be okay for a person to join Islam and leave Islam? If a person wants to be straight or gay, leave them. If he is a Muslim and he's gay, why is it a problem? Why is it a problem if someone changes their religion from Islam? Why do you have to stone or kill? Let's say, for example, 2 people, they didn't get married, they have a sexual affair, and they have a kid outside wedlock. Why do you have to jail them? Why do you have to kill them? Why do you have to stone them? Why? Islam is a religion of peace and love, right? So what does peace and love mean? Live and let live, right? And here's the last question, since I don't want to go too many. In these Arab countries, no, these Arabs, are they actually representative of Islam? Women have to be covered. You want others to follow your rules. But when you go to France or Germany, you don't want to follow their rules. They are saying don't wear a burqa. You're saying that is racism. But then when a Westerner or Western expat goes to Saudi or Afghanistan or Pakistan, you have to wear full covered. Why? Then you'll say it's culture. But if they follow which religion? And last and final question. Do you call a religion of peace and tolerance one there where if you draw a cartoon or if you make a joke of the prophet or the religion, they shout, kill him, behead him, murder him? Is that religion of love and peace? If someone cracks a joke, you kill them. So is that justified? Is that called peace and love? See, these are the questions you guys don't answer. Not all. Some of them I have dialogues with. But the majority do not answer, cannot answer. Like simple, like why is the Quran in Arabic? Why God only speaks in Arabic? So here are these simple questions. Why can't we live, if you say peace and love, why can't we live all together? Pray whichever God you want, follow whatever you want, dress up however you like in Saudi, Bahrain, Qatar, Oman, Afghanistan, Pakistan. We are a religion of love, peace and tolerance. Okay, make a joke on the prophet, make a joke on the verse. Like in Christianity, you joke about Jesus and Yeah, most of the Christians will not be bothered also. Yeah, whatever. So you answer these questions and let me know, because not answering these questions and wanting us to simply buy into the narrative that yes, we are peace, love, and doesn't work out that way, man. So anyway, these are my questions, these are my doubts. Let me know what you think. All right, and please, like I said, please do not quote a Quran verse. Please don't put a YouTube link of some other channel, and please don't give me an article to read which is long. You comment with logic, giving simple human basic common sense. Put it there, and don't say, oh, rapes are taking place in Christianity or murders are there. That doesn't justify or explain why those practices are followed in your religion. So I'm leaving it open for debate and discussion. Please feel free, put it down there. I'd love to know your thoughts. All right, having said this, let me sign off. You guys take care.